Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RGVSports.com podcast. I am your host, John LaFollette. I cover high school sports for the Monitor in McAllen and for RGVSports.com for the world at large. And if you're listening to this, you already know what it is. It's the RGV Week 2 recap podcast. It is the 2-point conversion to the action that took place this weekend. Do you like my football analogy there?
It's not bad. I like to think we're worth a little more than 2.
Well, that's the most you can get on an extra point. So we're maximizing our extra point capabilities.
Right,
here.
we're not extra. We're like the main event. You know what I mean?
I guess.
We're the full touchdown.
You're ruining my analogy. So
just work on it for next week.
We'll work on it for next week. That's what you get when you go to journalism school, kids. Anyways, joining me on my right, as always, he puts the Mac and Mac High.
Absolutely.
Greg Luca.
How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's been a busy week too.
Absolutely. Speaking of, you were at the game of the week today, and I don't even want to let you get through your intro because I actually want to hear how it went.
Was it game of the week?
Yeah, wasn't it?
It was the game of the week. PSG North versus Brownsville
It was
Vets.
the Monitor's game of the week.
It was the Monitor's game of the week. Although, according to today's sports section that came out for Saturday, it had the game of the week as Don Weslico, which I guess it was for Friday.
Well, but we're going to talk about both.
Yeah, we'll talk about both. Let's start with PSG North versus Brownsville Vets. Since you have so many questions, why don't you throw some my way?
Well, I guess we saw another shootout like we expected to see with these two teams. Did we end up hitting the over/under? What did we end up at?
What's 49 plus 31?
That would be 80.
80. So is the over.
We took.
I set the
over wins.
I set it at 73, and Saul, our page designer who's sitting in the back, he's pulling Periscope duty today because Mario's not here. What'd you say, Saul?
You pound the over.
You said pound the over.
Pound the over.
Well, not only did Brownsville Veterans pound the over, they pounded the Raiders in the second half. The final score for this one was 49-31 in favor of the Chargers of Brownsville. This was a shootout in the first half. At halftime, it was 28-24 in favor of the Chargers. And then in the second half, it was all Brownsville all the time. The only time the Raiders scored a touchdown was like 2 minutes to go. It was garbage time. The game was over at that point. It was like 49-24, and they made it 49-31. So that's just a vague overview. Let's get into specifics. I know you got some questions.
Yeah, well, what changed in the second half that they were going so well and then suddenly not so much?
Brownsville's defense just loaded the box. They put 8 guys in, and they dared PSG North to run the ball. They went 3 and out on like 3 or 4 consecutive drives. And since PSG North loves to play up tempo, they love to run the ball so much, and get that Oregon style of offense where it's very quick, very no huddle and all that stuff. They were just 3 and out like that, and the Raiders would be on the field for maybe 90 seconds, and their defense, who was already tired, would go right back out there and have to chase around Brownsville over again, and it wasn't working. But
they couldn't get the passing game going?
No, they could not get the passing game going. That's what kind of threw me off, because last week George Olivares, PSG North's quarterback, he was only 6 of 7, but he still threw for 145 yards. He completed 6 passes tonight, but it was on 20 attempts, and he only had 1 touchdown. Again, that was late in the game when it was garbage time. He finished the game with 78 yards and an interception. So, not his night. It wasn't really anyone on PSG North's night. Again, if you look at the first half, they did a lot of things well. They ran the ball very effectively. They generated some turnovers. They're not very good defensively, but they got a fumble recovery, which led to a touchdown. But then in the second half, it was just a completely different team. Just a lot of punts. To put things in perspective, for the first 4 drives for PSG North, it was touchdown, field goal. After that, it was punt, halftime, 3 more punts, and then 4 and out, and then a garbage time touchdown. And like I said, it was just Brownsville changed their defense. They prepared for the run. They dared PSG North to run, and they could never respond and counter. So,
and talk to me. See, Brownsville Veterans is a team that I feel like I was sleeping on before the season, and obviously they've beaten Donna, and now they've beaten PSG North, and I think they've scored so many points. But what about their offense impressed you? Who were their key guys? Give me a little bit of a breakdown of what you saw from them.
Their whole offense runs to their quarterback. He's a senior. His name is Marcus Castillo. I'm pulling numbers out of my butt in terms of their win against Donna, but he ran for like 250 yards on him or something like that.
Right.
There's a lot. Tonight it all ran through him. Let me look up the numbers real quick. I apologize for not having it off the top of my head. In terms of rushing, pardon me, he ran the ball 18 times for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then through the air, he was 10 of 15 for 144 and 4 touchdowns.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he had 6 touchdowns tonight. He set the tone early. He scored the first touchdown by rushing in from about 12 yards out, I think. No, it was a passing touchdown. But either way, it was all Marcus Castillo and PSG North, their defense. Whenever they could get to him, he's so big they couldn't bring him down, or he's so mobile with his feet, he would just run away from him, and he'd keep plays alive with his feet. He was incredible to watch in both aspects of the game tonight. It's all on him. And I had a chance to talk to Coach David Kemp too, the coach for the Chargers there. He said that this is Castillo's third year as a starter. And like at this point in the game for him, football just comes to him very slowly. He doesn't force anything. He doesn't make any rookie mistakes anymore. If he just takes what the defense gives him, whether it's a 5-yard dink and dunk or a 30-yard QB keeper for a touchdown. So I was very impressed with what I saw from Marcus Castillo and the Chargers defense in the second half. Certainly.
And that Brownsville Veterans offensive line is supposed to be pretty strong too. Did they impress you at all? Did you see anything as that goes?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everyone on that team, you could just see. I know it's Valley team on Valley team, but Brownsville just looked bigger, and they weren't just bigger, but they looked stronger and just as fast as PSG North. PSG North is a bit undersized on both sides of the ball. They're known for their speed. That's why they score so much. They have to score so much because their defense doesn't always get the stops that they want to get. But yeah, all in all, I was very impressed with Brownsville. They entered this game number 10 in RGVSports.com's ranking. I expect them to go up after this, especially as maybe a couple teams fall out. But yeah, put me on the Chargers bandwagon. I don't know if they're quite up there with McAllen Memorial or Los Fresnos or some of the other top tier teams, but I could absolutely see them being a top 10 team the rest of the season if things go well for them.
Interesting. So then you mentioned the other game of the week, which was Donna High and Weslaco.
Donna and Weslaco, yep.
And Weslaco High won this one 28-13. I think the majority, we were pretty split on this one, but I think the majority of us took Donna. I think we let Dennis Silva.
You took Donna, right?
We let Dennis Silva, our District 32 5A beat writer, hype us up on this Donna team, saying they would go 10-2 this year. And now suddenly they're 0-2, and I regret every second of it. But what we saw in this game, just looking at some of the stats, it was very even in terms of total yards. Donna actually outgained them for the game. But Weslaco got rushing from a lot of different people. I mean, there's 7 or 8 guys here on the stat sheet, and nobody had more than 56 yards.
Yeah, that's what they do. If you're a healthy body and you're a big guy and you go out there and take a couple hits, they'll throw anybody in there running back. So I'm pretty sure Coach Villarreal, except me, I'm sure he loves Solo out there too. So
hell yeah. So as a team, they picked up 243 on the ground on 40 carries, and did not have any passing yards, standard Weslaco stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But scored on defense. Jordan Nichols, who was quite the player, had a 50-yard
right.
fumble recovery return for a touchdown. And it looks like those are the keys to the game. What else do you learn looking at the stat sheet or talking to Dennis?
Well, I remember remember when we were discussing this game last week in preview, we said, in close games like this, it all comes down to defense.
And then for some reason I picked stupid
Dennis. Yeah. We said we both thought it would come down to defense, and that's why I picked Weslaco, because I think Weslaco does have the better defense here. I know coming into the season, they had some turnover on that side of the ball. But, with Coach Villarreal, what he does right there, I mean, in the last 10 years, Weslaco's made the playoffs 9 times. It's not a coincidence. They know what they're good at, and they still with what they're good at. And Jordan Nichols, as you mentioned, is a tremendous player. He's only a junior, but in their 2 wins so far this season, he was instrumental in both. He had a huge interception against Harlingen South, in which they won, and then he had a 50-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown, which really helped push Weslaco over the edge here. I had a chance to talk to Coach Tony about Jordan a couple times, and he says he's just very cerebral. He always wants to watch film. He always wants to study the game. And he said even during the summertime, he knew that they were going to open the season against Harlingen South, and he was asking, Coach V, hey, who's going to be the running back? I want to get ready. Like, do we have any film on that guy? Like, so some guys go to camp and get better. And Jordan Nichols in the film room and the weight room trying to get better, and he's paying huge dividends for Weslaco right now on defense, so props to him.
They've now beaten Harlingen South last week, and they beat Donna this week. How are we feeling about Weslaco? Firmly in the top 10, or what?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I know that Harlingen South is 0-2 and Donna's 0-2, but that's what the better teams do when they play inferior teams. They beat them, and so I picked Weslaco to win that district. I thought that coming into this year there may not be a favorite in 31-6A when it comes around for district. But the more the season progresses here, I think Weslaco might emerge as the favorite. That's why I picked them. Just because, again, given their track record, given everything that they've done over the past couple of years, it was hard to kind of go against them.
Right. So I don't know where you want to go from here, but I think one of the games that we had our eye on coming into the week was this Palmview PSJ Southwest game. So I'll talk about that first.
Yeah, because you were intrigued about the game. We all kind of were, because as we've talked about before, these are 2 programs that are on the up and come. I know that Palmview made the playoffs last year for the first time.
For the first time
ever.
First winning season ever.
Right. PSG Southwest is trying to get to the playoffs for the first time. So these are 2.
Last year was still their best year ever. They were 5-5.
Right. So teams that are on a similar track right now in terms of getting where they want to be. But it looks like, at least when it comes to trying to play Palmview, Southwest still has a ways to go. But yeah,
I think it looks like Palmview was the superior team pretty clearly. They ran for 500 yards in this one, and PSG Southwest didn't do bad, picking up 397. But I know talking to Saul, who was at the game, and talking to Dennis, who was at the game, man, that Palmview offensive line has 4 guys back from last year, and I wasn't sure how they would hold up because I think the offensive lineman who at least got the most publicity was considered the best, Big John, as they called him, was the one who was graduating. So I wasn't sure how the whole unit would hold together without him, but they look really strong.
Yeah.
They're just pushing these guys around.
Why were you so unsure? Was it just because?
It's just,
Is it with the when not just Palmview, but when teams suddenly make a leap, that first year is like a. Do you not?
Right.
I guess I'm trying to use the word fluke. Like, not to say like it was a fluke last year, but like you want to see.
Teams weren't ready for them, or
right.
It was just kind of a very different thing than what they'd seen from them in
right.
the past.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put together a good year and get some close wins and come out like that. But man, this is looking like the real deal suddenly now.
Yeah, there's even rumblings in the office that they might be able to beat Mac High.
Yeah,
what say you?
I wouldn't go that far just yet, but I haven't seen either team play in person yet this season.
Okay.
So I'm just going off a lot of last year and a lot of what we've seen so far stats wise. But I mean, obviously, you want to talk about stats. Their running back Joel Pena, 15 carries for 261 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's a pretty good average.
That'll do it.
And this is the second game in a row where he's put up huge numbers like that. So that's a guy you got to love. And then their second guy, Musel Guerra, had more than 100 yards for the second game in a row.
You said he carried 15 times?
15 for 261.
That's a 17.4 yard per carry average.
So that's what you're looking for.
Last time I checked, that was pretty good. So.
Right. And again, they only threw for 48 yards in this one, but they just pound the ball on the ground and pound the ball on the ground and pound the ball on the ground and take care of the ball, and they didn't turn it over in this game. And suddenly you have a pretty convincing win on your hands, 50-26. I don't remember if we said the score yet, but 24-point win against another up-and-coming team is pretty good.
Right.
So I'll be interested to see where they go from here.
Do you know who Palmview plays next week?
I do not off the top of my head, but I can check it. They have a big game in 2 weeks against Roma.
Right.
I'm glad you bring this up because I remember thinking that they don't play McAllen High or McAllen Memorial until the last 2 weeks of district.
So all the way to Halloween.
If they get by, so they have Rio Grande City next week. They should win that game. Then if they can beat Roma, which is going to be tough, that's game of the week caliber. We'll see how that shakes out in terms of what we pick as game of the week. But if they get by that game, then they could be looking at being 8-0 heading into a game against McAllen High and McAllen Memorial the last 2 weeks, which would be really interesting. So I'm intrigued to see how that goes for them from here. But certainly the start to the season they were looking for, and they're looking strong right now.
Right. You mentioned Rio Grande City. They had an upset. They were upset this week. After pulling an upset in week 1, shutting out Ingleside there at 13-0, they lost to Port Isabel at home.
Is that an upset now? I guess because we were so high on them after.
Yeah, well, I mean, they blanked a non-Valley team. We were pretty impressed. I mean, I went on the record saying last week that was the most impressive week 1 win was Rio Grande City.
Potentially.
I had a chance to. Obviously, I wasn't at the game, but I followed along on social media from someone who was at the game. And it seemed like Rio Grande City had the ball in Port Isabel territory in the red zone late in the game, but they just couldn't convert, and they went away empty-handed, and that pretty much cost them the game.
Where are you at now, Rio Grande City Twitter?
No, watch if they beat Palmview. They're going to come.
They're
going to come after you.
They'll be back.
They're coming after you.
Right.
I mean, in terms of anything else, Los Fresnos they crushed Ed Couch-Elsa 40-6. Dennis has been on this podcast several times, hyping up Ed Couch, and again, it's week 2. Los Fresnos is a very good team.
I've trashed Dennis edition.
I've seen what Ed Couch can do, albeit in a scrimmage, and I mean they played well against Rowe, getting that win there. But it's still early in the season. It's one of those games where you don't really know what that means. Although for me, I think it means that Los Fresnos is probably the second best team in the Valley. I know that
they're up there. Yeah.
I know that Vela was number 2 last week, but Los Fresnos just shuts people down. They'll outscore you by a bajillion points, and they'll just shut you down. Meanwhile, with Vela, they scored 70 points against Harlingen South, and they still allowed 40.
Yeah, that's true. The Vela defense.
Yeah, I've got questions about the defense, and I also have questions just about. I'm just telling you about. It's not their fault that that district may not be as good as we might have thought it was going to be this year.
Right.
But I don't know.
But hey, I mean, if you talk about teams at the top, McAllen Memorial today, 56-21 against the Economides, and I'll get Trevor Spate's line here.
Right.
But it was 226 yards on 18 carries with 2 touchdowns.
The Trevor Spate's
again,
game.
at halftime, it was only 21-14. There was before that it was 14 all, and kind of midway through the second quarter. They weren't sort of as dominant against the communities as they probably would have wanted to be, and as we would expect to see from our number one team.
And again, please don't think I'm trying to bring down Bella. They're a good football team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm just trying to make the case that they may not be number 2.
They could be number 2 or 3 instead of
right. But they're still easily one of the 5 best teams in the Valley at this point in the season,
absolutely.
for sure. Anything else?
Now, another game that, team that's typically up there, Sharyland High, the game that I covered this week. They had a rough time against Laredo United. Laredo United won 55-35.
55-35.
And the quarterback, freaking Tellez, the quarterback for them, threw for 307 yards and 6 touchdowns in the first half.
That's video game numbers.
And then had 440 and 8 touchdowns for the game.
Speaking of video game,
okay.
Do you have Madden 16?
I do not.
Do you have Madden 16 so? Do you have Xbox One?
No, I have like PlayStation.
You have Xbox One? My gamer tag is USA Movie 99. All lowercase. No dots or anything, no periods. It's USA as
Are you challenging the entire page?
USA as in Grand Ole US of A. Movie. USA Movie 99.
Okay.
The actual numerals. Ask me to be my friend on Xbox One. Play me at Madden. You will probably destroy me because I'm terrible at it. But I'm down. This is for the podcast, and this is for the Periscope users, or the gentleman in this room right now. I am always down for a game of Madden, or 2K as well, whenever 2K rolls around.
There you go, listeners. The gauntlet has been thrown down.
Not the gauntlet, just saying.
The gauntlet has been thrown down.
I'm not going to profess to how good my Madden skills are, because I'm not that good. But
John said he's the greatest of
the
all
invitation
time.
is out there. The gauntlet has not been thrown, the invitation has been placed. But yes, back to Sharyland and Laredo. The real video game that we were talking about.
Right. Well, I mean, I hit the high points already. 440 passing yards and 8 touchdowns for Laredo United.
Yep.
For the Laredo United quarterback, and Sharyland High moved the ball all right. Seth Carter had more than 100 on the ground and a touchdown. Had a really long, like 84-yard run or something. He looks good. Second week in a row, he looks like a very good, useful player for them. But Monty Campos fumbled twice for Sharyland, and that put them in a little bit of a hole. Seth Carter threw an interception when they were kind of rallying. They were down 14 inside the opponent's 20, but in like the third quarter.
Right.
So if they score, it's a 7-point game, and that's crazy because you gave up 300 passing yards and 6 passing touchdowns in the first half, and they were still managing to be in the neighborhood.
Right.
But because they held Laredo United to -4 total yards in the third quarter. Again, after they gave up 300 in the first half, it was the weirdest thing. But then they just couldn't.
They drank Michael Jordan's secret stuff.
Right. They just couldn't close the gap any further from there. But I don't think I'm worried about Sharyland High again. Second week in a row that they lost, but I think they're still going to be all right.
I mean, there's no shame losing to McAllen Memorial. There's no shame losing to Laredo United.
And they're going to have to play Alexander, who I don't know how good they are this year.
They lost that game last year by 1.
And then that's obviously...
They could start 0-3.
Well, no, they play Brownsville Rivera next week. So they could start 1-3.
They'd probably beat Rivera. They could start 1-3.
But then my point is, I could still see them winning the district. I wouldn't be totally shocked if they.
That's not their own possibility.
Like we just talked about, Bella's not infallible. Mission Vets proved today that they're,
Well, granted, they went up against Odessa,
right.
Yes,
but we're not saying that they're.
I have a suspicion that Mission Vets, because Mario's talked about, they might be able to sneak in and get the district title. They might be able to go 2-3 rounds deep.
Yeah.
I think Mission Vets is a B-list Valley team. I really do. I don't think they're. Not to say that they're a bad team, but I don't think they're in the upper echelon.
Yeah, it's the conversation we had last week, which is like, what did they do last year that impressed us so much, and we kept them in the top 10 all year, and I just was never like, oh, this team's so good.
Right.
There was no like blow away. Like,
right, and I mean they beat Mission, but it was still like a really sloppy game from what it sounds like.
So many close games that they played last year.
And again, I'm not going to hold it against them for losing so bad to Permian. I mean, any Valley.
Right.
Like you could take who's number 1, McAllen Memorial. You take McAllen Memorial to Odessa, and they'll still get blown out. That's just the way that is. So
right.
I'm just saying on the whole, as you mentioned, like what was their most impressive win last year? Like La Jolla High or something?
It would have been something in the. God, I don't know. Well, it would have been Roma, maybe.
Right. But while we're on the topic,
that would have looked better at the end of the year than the beginning.
But I like how that we're talking about Valley teams playing non-Valley teams, because there was a notable game on the other side of the Valley, Harlingen.
We need to talk about that.
They played San Antonio Reagan. Harlingen did not play last week. This was their season opening game. It was at home to San Antonio Reagan, who are the Rattlers as well. So we had 3 Rattlers in action on Friday. Last year, Harlingen got blanked 42-0. This year, they lost 42-21. But the thing of note is, in the second quarter, they were leading that game.
They were up 21-14 at halftime.
They were up 21-14 at halftime. All their points came in the second quarter, but they were still in the lead.
In the second quarter, they were up 21-7. Yeah.
Right, and so I know they're number 4, number 5 in our top 10 right now. I don't expect them to fall.
That's an impressive.
Yeah, that's really impressive because how many? I bet you there's not even 10 teams in the Valley that could lead San Antonio Reagan at any point in the game.
Oh yeah, there's not even remotely.
So,
yeah.
Props on Harlingen. There's going to be a good game next week when it's Harlingen versus Mac High.
Looking at the stat sheet here, Reagan had 400 total yards to Harlingen's 367.
Right.
Like you don't see them. You don't see any team around here that close with San Antonio schools that often.
No.
And I think we expected this game to be kind of a blowout.
Yeah.
Just based on last year where it was not competitive, and suddenly, I'm following on the Twitter during the game, and it's like, oh snap, they're right there.
Yeah. Props to Coach Gomez and the Cardinals over there. So they're one of my. They're probably going to be my top 5 again next week. And again,
we always have a hard time, and I say always, the last 2 years, we have a hard time figuring out how to rank them and how to judge them early in the year because of the fact that they start a week later and then play a San Antonio school where we can't gauge anything. But man, it's impossible not to feel good about them now.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, next Thursday they're going to be in McAllen to play Mac High. That's possible game of the week right there. So we'll find out in the coming days when the staff decides. But I'm looking forward to that next week for sure. There was one other team that played at least 5A, 6A. I'm sure there was some 4As and 3As that played non-Valley schools, but in 5A and 6A, there's one more Valley non-Valley game we got to talk about. That was Roma. They played Laredo Cigarroa, and they beat them 33-6, I believe was the score.
34-3.
34-3. Held them to a field goal.
Laredo Cigarroa is not like a good team, though, right?
I don't know.
Let's see. I mean, my understanding was that they are kind of the bottom feeders of Laredo, if you will.
Oh, I see. So they're the catfish of Laredo.
Right. As long as you don't make another Brownsville.
I like catfish.
Let's see.
It's like the one being a landlocked Midwesterner. Like catfish is like the one fish I would eat. So
Cigarroa was 4-6 last year.
Okay.
The year before that, they were 1-9.
Okay.
I think they're just kind of.
All right. Well, still.
But hey, we like Roma a lot this year. It's weird.
I think they're going to finish second in that district.
But
I really do. I think they may not beat Sherlin in the game, but I think they're going to get second in that district.
They've, like Mario's talked about, some people think that they could potentially win the district. I wouldn't be on that bandwagon quite yet. But
no, I'm not saying win, but I think they'll be in the top. They'll be second.
Obviously, a dominant win against Cigarroa, and just based on the numbers, they were on their way to a dominant win against La Jolla High before it got cut short. The rest of the year, that's going to look like a 9-point game, but that's a 9-point lead at halftime.
Yeah.
And the yardage, it looked like they could have. Kind of had their way, so that's why. Listen, that game against Palmview in a couple weeks is going to be really good.
Yeah,
that's where you really see where both of those teams stand. Kind of like what we said for Palmview PSJ Southwest this week, except for real this time.
Yeah, except for real.
Like actually.
Are there any other games of note?
Well, how about this? I can run down some of the scores, and if you have anything to say about any game, just stop me.
Okay, sure.
Edinburgh North 23, Brownsville Rivera 7.
Edinburgh North gets their first one of the season. Rivera's still winless.
McAllen Road 26, Mercedes 20, double overtime.
That was an upset. We all picked Mercedes.
Yeah.
And so shouts to the Warriors for winning that game.
And it's hilarious because it's like Rowe lost to Ed Couch-Elsa in week 1, and then Ed Couch-Elsa looked terrible, but Rowe still beat Mercedes.
Yeah.
So, like we said, Rowe's probably going to be pretty hard to predict all year.
Mm-hmm.
But John Perez played well. Hector Vasquez played well at receiver. Joseph Moreno caught a touchdown. And they also had Jesus Sanchez play some at quarterback, which is not a name that was kind of on the radar last year, but they're looking at sort of a 2-quarterback thing this year when it fits. So
yeah, with a team like Rowe, it seems like you just throw whoever's out there and just see. It seems like I feel like Rowe's gonna be one of those week-to-week teams,
right?
Or it just depends on the matchup that they'd have to play.
I like this one. La Jolla High 13 down North.
That was your lock of the week. That was your
third.
lock of the week.
Dennis's lock of the week.
Dennis lock. LOL. Notable about there, Donna remains winless in their varsity history. La Jolla High gets their first win of the season.
Yeah, they're a team that's also on the rise, looking like maybe playoff contender once
again.
Oh,
let's talk about McAllen High and Edinburgh High. McAllen High gets the win 28-0, but people expected this to be a much bigger,
This is
margin
exactly a repeat of last year for me.
In halftime, it was 2-0. They didn't score a touchdown.
Halftime last year, I don't remember what it was, but McAllen High went on to win, I believe, 30-6 last year. And it was the same kind of a deal where they just sort of had, I don't know if it's a hangover from Permian or what it was. That's what Brewer called it, talking about last year's game. He didn't say that about this year's game, but just in general, not playing to their level in the first half, and then in the second half, they got some more defensive plays in terms of a couple takeaways that set them up in good field position. And they got, they got a rushing touchdown from Caleb Youngblood, they got a rushing touchdown from Josh McGowan, and they got 2 rushing touchdowns from, oh my God, I'm going to blank on the kid's name. But yeah, they really kind of bounced back in this game, and it's looking good for them. Let's see, who was it? Isaiah Gonzalez. He's
There
the
you
guy
go.
who was looking like their primary back before McGowan transferred in.
Okay.
So again, that's not a great showing for them, but I'm not worried about it because again, the same thing happened last year, and that team turned out just fine.
We got to mention that Romo was Mario's lock of the week. We were so on the year we're 7-1 on our lock of the week, except for Dennis, who had to ruin it. But although to his credit, we totally goaded him into doing that. So Dennis came into peer pressure.
Well, hey, speaking of locks of the week, Brownsville-Hannah 42.
Brownsville-Hannah, like I said, it's not what Brownsville-Hannah can do. It's what Mission High can't do.
Well, hey,
and what Mission High can't do is win games right now because they're 0-2.
The problem is, I think we are sort of overreacting because they've had 200 plus total yards in both games, and like that's not a lot. But the truly terrible, like the 0-10 type teams are at
Right. I'm saying I said what I said in terms of just
right.
being,
No, that's
being
why
a
you
show
put
off.
it in the.
Yeah.
That's why you put it in the bag.
But that's why Hannah made me look smart.
In this game, for anybody who's watching the Mission High quarterback battle, we talked about it a decent amount in previous shows. William Arias was much better than the upcoming JV guy, Trevino. So that's where that stands.
As far as Juarez Lincoln, they beat Rio Hondo.
Yes.
I picked Rio Hondo to win because I'm an idiot apparently.
Well, hey, I had Juarez Lincoln. I don't think maybe one other person had Juarez. Yeah, S-Dog had Juarez Lincoln.
S-Dog had Juarez Lincoln.
This is just I think the part that you guys were mostly wrong on is I don't know if Rio Hondo's going to be as good as they were last year, and 6A school versus I want to say Rio Hondo's a 4A
They're
school.
4A.
They should win that game, but I mean they have 4A numbers in their program.
That's
Juarez
true.
Lincoln. So I can see where you guys sort of doubted them, but at the same time, maybe the 11 that they have are pretty good.
Yeah,
That's the rhetoric that they preach, and maybe there's a little something to it.
PSG Memorial, they won 34-6. They beat PSG High.
We talked about
they're 2-0 against Michael. with Michael Uribe as their coach right now.
We wanted to see them dominate, and this is what we were looking for.
Yep.
What else we got?
Valley View lost to Zapata. Weslaco East got
this is one I wanted to
bad
ask
by
you
San
about.
Benito.
What's up with that?
Apparently, a lot of turnovers. What it sounds like from the story I read and what I saw on Twitter. I saw Coach Berget at the PSG North Brownsville game tonight. He was chilling on. I think he was eating a Frito pie. I can't.
Breaking news.
I couldn't. I was writing. I was starting to write my story at halftime, so I couldn't get a chance to go out and say hi to him and ask him about the game. I'm sure he probably didn't want to talk about the game, given how things went. But from what I understand, just turnovers is what cost him in that game.
Man, I thought they seemed like I was on the bandwagon after week 1.
Right. But again,
Now
who knows?
they're way out of the top 10. I can't see that.
Really?
I don't know.
I don't know about way out. I think people will still give them some votes. It's just a reputation vote. I don't know if I'll put them in my top 10. But the thing is, it's still week 2. San Benito's 2-0. What if San Benito goes like 9-1? Then suddenly,
I guess why I say that.
Wesco East loss doesn't seem so bad.
I had them in, and I had Brownsville Vets out, and that's clearly wrong. So
Brownsville Vets looks good. They're absolutely a top 10 team. That's no doubt in my mind on that one. You mentioned we talked about McAllen Memorial and Econ. Sheridan Pioneer beat Brownsville Page 32-6. Took care of business. And then the battle of the
Southmost, right?
Yeah, and the battle of who is not the best of the worst. That's Brownsville Porter, Brownsville Lopez. Porter won 21-16.
What a way to end the show, right?
Yeah, I guess. Do you have anything else to talk about?
The Periscope verse has been pretty quiet today. So unless we have any questions, I think we've now covered the week of games, and yeah, what we can do is we can get more into the top 10 debate. We sort of glanced
Right. Last week, someone asked what our top 10 was, and again, for those of you who don't know, there's 7 writers across the valley who vote on the RGV Sports top 10. We are 2 of them. Let's not do top 10. Let's just stick with our top 5 because I'm not sure what my top 10 would be. But just who do you think right now is going to be in your top 5, Mr. Greg?
Well, coming into the week, I had McAllen Memorial, Edinburghville, Los Fresnos, McAllen High, and Harlingen High. And I think McAllen High is the one where people would say, "What the heck is wrong with you?" But at this point, I guess I still like that group. I don't know. Maybe I bump Harlingen up ahead of McAllen High, but maybe I switch Fresnos and Vela. I don't know. Mario wants to know if Brownsville Vets was that good tonight, and are they on your top 10 poll? They'll be making mine, but
Yeah. I mean, they made mine last week. I had Brownsville Vets number 10 last week. I'm probably going to bump them up. They're not top 5, but like it's not something I have to think about. Like it's automatic for me. They're a top 10 team certainly. From what I saw tonight, and their ability to just put a game away and just totally they changed that game on one drive. It took because last week PSG North didn't punt. It took them 6 quarters to punt this season, and then when that one punt happened, That was all it took.
Floodgates open.
The floodgates open. Their defense was just wreaking havoc on PSU North all night. So, and plus their quarterback was fantastic to watch. He was fun. But yeah, my top 5. McAllen Memorial's number 1. I'm gonna put Los Fresnos number 2. Vela number 3.
Vela's down to 3.
Vela's down to 3 just because I have concerns about that defense.
That's fair, I guess.
Like I said, Los Fresnos takes care of business, and again, Vela's put 70 points on the board twice in as many weeks.
You know what? I might be with you.
But like they beat Pace, right? Who we all thought they would beat, and then Harlingen South looks to maybe not be as strong,
or at least not. Again, well, their defense. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, again, So
somebody asked, "Do you think Palmview is for real?"
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit higher in the show, and I think.
I mean, they're both in our top 10. I think
they've proven. Again, I worry a little bit in terms of beating a McAllen Higher and McAllen Memorial about a one-dimensional team like that, where they run the ball and they don't pass the ball.
Right.
And the defense has looked every bit as good as they were last year so far. But again, I don't think last year's defense gives up 397 rushing yards to PSJ Southwest. So what I've learned right now about Palmview is offense, no drop off, defense, TBD. And last year's team was very good, and I think this year's team could be better, but it also could be the same, and it also could be.
Right. And it depends on what he means, like by for real, like state title contender. No, they're not for real, but like in terms of the Valley being a competitive team week in, week out.
Here's what I'll say: they are. I
over under 7 wins for Palmview the rest of the way.
Interesting.
For the whole season, when the season's over, it's over under 7 wins.
Well, I think there's 3.
They got Rio Grande City. That's 3
losable games, right?
Roma, Kai, McAllen Memorial.
Well, you gotta watch the road game. Is going to be fun because you never know what you're going to get. Right?
That's true.
But you would think that they could beat La Jolla High. You would think that they could beat Mission. You would think that they could beat Juarez Lincoln, Rio Grande City. So now we're already at 6 wins.
And they just got to beat.
Then you have the
Roma.
You have the Roma game, which is going to be tough. The 2 McAllen schools, which are going to be tough,
and Ro's a wild card,
which I think they could win. I mean, they could beat Roma, they could beat Ro, and I got to see a little bit more in McAllen High. Maybe they could beat them. I don't think that they're in McAllen Memorial class just yet.
Got another question.
Who's a team or 2 that might be dropping out of your top 10 next week?
Weslaco East
and PSJ North. I've deleted both of them already.
I put PSG North in the top 10 too. Yeah, I think East and PSG North are out of the top 10. What PSG North wasn't in our top 10 for RGV Sports, but in our personal top 10, I had them in there. They're out, and I think Weslaco East is probably out too. And in terms of who takes their place, I don't know yet. I got to look.
And I'm moving Ed Couch out of top 10 consideration probably permanently.
Yeah, permanently?
Like never.
I mean, that district, and again, it's not Ed Couch's fault, but like that district is not very strong. Like all you have to do to make the playoffs in District 32 5A is beat Porter and Pace, which isn't hard, or Donna North, which again isn't hard. And like you beat those 3 teams, you're in the playoffs. So congratulations, PSA Southwest or Mercedes, Ed Couch, Donna, And again, they can't help with it. They've got those 3 sandbag teams holding them down. But like even in last year, I mean the 4 teams from that district that made the playoffs, they all got beat in the first round.
Looks like I'm going to have Roma in my top 10. I'm just, as we're talking about
it. Yeah, Roma's probably going to go in the top 10. But real quick, my top 5, McAllen Memorial, Los Fresnos, Edinburgh Bella, Harlingen. I'm going to put Weslaco over Mac High at the moment. Just because, again, we don't really know what Mac High looks like. I think we have a better idea what Weslaco looks like. Mac High is still a top 10 team. I don't think they're top 5.
Here's where, and when I tried to do my rankings, and this is the same problem I'm going to have this week, is I want to put, I can't put Palmview ahead of Mac High, and I don't think I can put Weslaco ahead of Palmview.
Right.
So then it just sort of ranks itself.
Fair enough. We had another question.
So whose offense is better, Memorial's or Velas?
That is a good one.
That's a really good question.
Well, what you have there is you have sort of where McAllen Memorial has to prove that they can pass if they need to. Mm-hmm. I think that is something that they don't usually need to because obviously Trevor Spates is so good and the offensive line is so good. And even quarterback Jonathan Sanchez can run. But they threw for more than 100 yards today. DJ Johnson came back and had 3 catches for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns or something.
There you go.
That's the kind of line DJ Johnson puts up, good 35 yards per catch average. That kind of thing. So, man, I guess it's tough to say, but you might have to lean Vela because of the balance. But, man, that's a good question, and I'm not sure. If I have to pick under my head, I'd go Vela because of the balance. But it's funny because their quarterback is the quarterback who was the quarterback at McAllen Memorial last year, And when they had the same kind of complaint that their passing offense just isn't where it needs to be. So it's funny that now I say passing offense is good. It's the same kid, right?
Right.
But I mean, maybe it's the system then, because Pedraza had a good time moving the ball in that game for them. So I guess lean Vela because the balance.
Certainly. Any more questions from the Periscope session?
None that I've seen.
Do we have a podcast?
I think we did it.
I think we did it. I think we had a recap podcast. Thank you again for checking out this episode of the RGVSports.com podcast. This wraps up week 2. Congratulations, boys.
Yeah,
we did it. Next time,
the season really goes by fast. I was thinking about that the other day. It's like 20% of the year.
We've only got 9 more weeks left because teams get buys and stuff. So
true.
9 more weeks.
True.
9 more weeks, and then it's playoffs, and then it's Thanksgiving, and then it's basketball season,
and then it's Christmas, and then it's New Year's, and
then it's and then it's track season. Anyway,
and it's WrestleMania.
And then it's WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
Next time you hear from us, we will be previewing Class 5A for week 3. A question popped up on Periscope asking about a certain district, and I thought I was going to say 32 5A, but assuming that's the question that you wanted to talk about. But answer off the air. Oh, anyway, sorry about that. I'm sorry.
I was going to say we could end the podcast and then talk about it on our little post show.
No, yeah. We'll do that on the post show. That's our exclusive for the Periscope.
Everyone reads it. Anything you brought on the teleprompter, John will read.
Pretty much. So space. It's as red as Rio Grande City's jerseys right now. Anyways, thank you so much for checking this episode of the RGVSports.com podcast. Next time you hear from us, we will be previewing Class 5A, RGV Week 3 football. And we'll see you then. You can find us on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you want to follow this podcast on iTunes, just search RGVSports.com or the first one that pops up. Hit the subscribe button. Until then, take care of yourself and each other, and we will be back next week.
Answer on the air. This freaking guy. Okay. The question was toughest district. So
toughest district.
Right. Yeah, it is, Mario. Calm down.
Is that a Paramore shirt? No, it just says Paramore. It's not a Paramore shirt. Toughest district. You want to say 36A, given that Trevor Spates is there and Matt Kai is there.
Yeah, but I was thinking.
But
about
outside of those 3 teams, right, it's not that impressive.
Well, you got again, like Rowe has now gone 1-1 against 32 5A.
Right.
So again, and that's kind of like the middle team of 36A. So I don't really know what to make of.
I don't know about toughest.
Pretty good.
I'll use the word most consistent district. How about that? I think 31 5A is probably the answer there.
That's Mario was pounding that drum last year because of.
You had Sherilyn.
You have the top. You have the 3 that we thought during the year, and then suddenly.
32 6A. That's a great. 32 6A is tough. 32 6A is really tough
Is
because
it,
you got.
Or is it top heavy?
You got Los Fresnos. Well, I think it goes 5 deep. You got Los Fresnos. At least last year it went 5 deep. You got Los Fresnos, Harlingen.
San Benito's not bad.
San Benito, Brownsville Rivera, who they started 0-5 last year. They still made the playoffs, went 3 rounds deep. They're 0-2 right now, but again, once the state history won't repeat itself.
Wow,
the Chargers are good. Yeah, that's a 32 6A. Congrats. Yeah, that's the answer. I'm
surprised that I think this, but that's probably right.
32 6A by far and away. That's the toughest district. I mean, you got Lopez, and that's probably the only doormat in that district.
Harlingen South and Brownsville Hannon are both decent teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 32 6A. That's your yep. Congratulations, whoever answered that. You won a prize.
I'm trying to.
It's our respect. Game recognized game, sir.
Yeah, because again, 36.
4 teams. 4 teams are 2-0. Who are the 4 teams that are 2-0? San Benito, Los Fresnos, Chargers, and who else? It's Hannah. Yeah, you got 2. Yeah. No other district has that. Meanwhile, Edinburgh in 31 6A, you got Edinburgh High that hasn't even scored a point this season. Not a touchdown, a point. They haven't gotten a safety or a field goal or anything.
Yeah, well, who are if you had to pick the playoff teams in 31 6A right now, just spitball a little bit. Who are the top of the district at this point?
Weslaco. Gosh, the only teams that are undefeated in that district right now are Weslaco and PSG Memorial.
Right. So the point is, if you're getting into the PSG North territory this quickly, we saw today that they're not as good as the 32 6A team.
No, they're not as good as the 32 6A
team.
But granted, they lost to Brownsville veterans last year. They play Los Fresnos next week. They're going to lose that game too. But at the same time, they beat Weslaco last year.
36A goes 3 deep. 32 5A is bad.
32 5A is bad.
31 5A is brought down by the Rio Grande City and the Valley View and the Sherilyn Pioneer.
But Pioneer isn't terrible.
It's
just Vela will beat them 9 times out of 10.
They've played Pace
Sure,
and they've played
Wyoming.
Hidalgo. I want
That's
to see them
true.
play some
That's
games.
true. That's true. I think 32-6A. Good.
Mario wanted to know if you like Snickers or Twix.
I love them both. That's tough. If I had to choose, Snickers or Twix. Like Snickers are more chewy. Twix have that crunchiness to them. It just depends on what mood I'm in. I'm gonna go Snickers because the bars are bigger. I like bigger bars. Hashtag. That's what she said.
Hashtag if that's Mario wants to know about the Battle of the Southmost. I don't think he's serious, but let's look
Battle of the Southmost. What's that?
That's when you rookie. That's when Porter plays against Lopez.
Oh, who cares?
Hey.
That's the answer to that question. Like, none of those teams are making the playoffs. It doesn't matter.
Question mark.
No, we're not going to answer that question because it doesn't matter.
Gutierrez carries Cowboys past rival Lobos.
Okay, there you go. That doesn't matter. That game does not matter. Why are we going to talk about this on the post show? I'd much rather go back to talking about
No.
I would much rather talk about Snickers or Twix and candy bars. But what's this line say? Give the ball to Jorge. Okay, there you go.
Jorge Gutierrez, Porter's bruising senior running back, who did the most damage in helping his team improve to 2-0 on the young season.
Okay, there you go. All right, that's all we're going to talk about that game because neither of those teams are making the playoffs.
He carried 36 times for 186 yards, John, and all 3 of Porter's touchdowns.
Don't care.
What is that, an average of like 2 yards?
It's not great.
Don't care. Why are we talking about this? Why?
Well, the show's over. We just do it.
32-6A, 31-6A, 36A, 31-5A. I'd probably put
31-6A is pretty high on your list.
I would put 31-5 over 31-6A. Just because you get a bit more consistent crop of teams. Last year, I'd probably put 31-6A over 32.
I think I would put 36A over 31-6A too.
Yeah, because right now you got Weslaco looks strong, but Weslaco East, they're an enigma. Who knows what PSG North can do? Their defense is concerning. Their defense cannot get stops. They're undersized. And they have to swarm to the ball, but when they play big teams like Brownsville, it takes like 3 guys to make 1 tackle, and then they just wear themselves out so quickly.
I'm pulling up the district standings for them so I can see them all kind of side by side. I gotta close some tabs.
So,
this is getting outrageous.
What else was there? Oh yeah, Econ and Edinburgh High.
So you okay?
Nah, I'm taking 31-5 over 31-6A.
Yeah, I just think the 31-6A doesn't have the type of top teams.
It's got Weslaco, and that's all it's got right now.
Right. Yeah, maybe Weslaco's really good.
Again, last year,
not sleep on that.
if we're asking the same question last year, 31-6A is up there because you had Weslaco and Weslaco East, and PSG North actually had
But
made a good run.
okay, so I'll take McCallum Memorial over Weslaco.
Top quarterback in the Valley. Oh, man. There's not too many quarterbacks in my district. Mike Gonzalez has played well, and Christian Espinosa has played well, but I wouldn't say they're the top quarterback. Maybe it's just because he's the only guy I've seen, but I'm taking Marcus Castillo from Brownsville Vets. I'm taking that guy. That guy's legit. Seriously.
Are we talking like just...
Who's yours? Who do you think? I want to hear what you have to think.
Are we talking
feel
passing?
free to like interact and give answers too. We love this stuff.
I'm wondering if we're talking passing or rushing or just pick a player that you would want on your team.
I think Castillo. Like he's what Marco Aguinagua needs to be, which is just consistent on both running and passing. And again, I'm not trying to bring Marco down. I know he's a junior. That's a whole new system they're trying to run this year. They're trying to make him a more accurate passer. So, was there a comment made?
Let's see.
Rice Ortega from LaFerrier. Yeah. I understand that he's very good too. I just haven't seen him play. Los Fresnos is out of our coverage area. But yeah, that from the stats I've seen, that's totally legit. Sure, absolutely.
How about Rose quarterback is okay, but they aren't a good enough team for me to think that that's. Let's see, who else are we looking at here? 2 weeks. I can't see like the Bella quarterback's got decent numbers, but I saw him play at McCallum Memorial last year. There's no way he's the top quarterback in the Valley. I don't want to be mean. He's like a fine player.
That's not mean.
But I don't see that.
Whoever the answer is at 32-6. Man, what a good district. That district at some point in the season could have 4 teams in the top 10. They could.
You know, and Olivares isn't bad, and if you're that convinced it's the other guy, that's interesting.
Yeah, Olivares is good. I mean, but again, they shut him down. Right. They loaded the box, and that was the end of that. And then, the passing game wasn't there. Guys were dropping passes and stuff. What's with Mercedes being 0-2? Week 1, they played Cal Allen. That's an automatic loss. They lost to Rowe. It just seems like they're really young. They have a sophomore quarterback this year.
Yeah, this is something for the Wednesday show when Dennis is here. That's
Yeah, our 32 5A rider isn't here, but I'm not too concerned about Mercedes because, one, it's non-district, and two, when they do play district, that district is so easy. They're going to make the playoffs barring a host of injuries because they're going to beat Donna North, they're going to beat Pace, they're going to beat Porter, and that might be the only 3 wins they need to get in.
I don't think they lost to a bad team in Rowe. The thing about Rowe is that they're kind of, they're inconsistent, and they might look really good one week, and this just could have been that week. And again, like we said, the Cal Allen game, you just sort of wave that off. That's whatever, right? So,
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's TBD. What's up with Mercedes? I think
TBD.
But Dennis would have more insight on that than we would. So check back Wednesday if you don't mind.
Another question. What is it?
Is Mario just trolling us, or what's he want?
He wants to know
paper or plastic? Paper or plastic? What? I mean, that's pretty vague. You got a paper or plastic? Like bags?
Isn't that a thing
for groceries? Yeah.
Paper rips too easily. I like plastic. I know paper's better for the environment. The Obama voter in me should say paper.
The correct answer is bring your own bag.
Bring your own. The Obama voter in me is saying paper, but the practical human being says plastic.
Other than Trevor Spates, what running back would you have on your team?
Other than Trevor Spates,
Joel Pena?
You know what? He seems strong, but I might, even within the district, from an individual talent standpoint, like the McGowan kid at McAllen High. But I got to see them both in person.
What's your favorite Paramore song, Greg?
Wow, what a great... Oh my God, that is a tough one. I think Ignorance would be my favorite Paramore song.
My favorite one is the one where
you hate them all. I don't want to hear
My
it.
favorite Paramore song is the one where she says, "Oh yeah."
I will never forget the part where you trashed their record and everybody else loved it.
Not everyone else.
Every
Okay,
review I read,
all right, you know
people
what?
liked it.
I'm gonna go back. How about this? I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna listen to that record.
Everybody loved it.
I have not listened to that record since I wrote that. That came out like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I'll go back and listen to it.
Came out. Yeah.
I'll go back and listen to it. I'll see. Because again,
There you go.
I know a lot of people said it was catchy and it was good. And maybe it was something.
It was different, man.
I just didn't hear it. I got to go back. I will. Next recap podcast. Are you gonna be here for the next recap podcast next week?
Absolutely, dude.
We're totally gonna do this. We'll have the same discussion. We'll totally talk about this.
Mario wants to know the Trevor Spates thing?
Yeah.
Best running back not named Trevor Spates.
That's another thing to think about.
From what I've seen, from the games I've seen this early part of the season, I haven't seen much. I know that Mario is impressed with the running back from Roma. We even got a beat reporter from the Laredo area tweeting at me wanting to know what he thought about what I thought about the Roma running back because he did so well against Figueroa. And again, I know Figueroa isn't Alexander or United, but his name is escaping me at the moment. I apologize.
What day are we running our stats again? I want to go back and look.
Tuesday.
I want to see who are some of the leaders.
No, Wednesday. Wednesday. We're on stats Wednesday.
Uh,
Gatorade bottle filled with never mind. I'm not going to read that.
Is it Mario?
No. Ramon Espinosa balled out for 5 touchdowns. Yeah, Ramon Espinosa, that's his name. Yeah, he seems like he's doing some good things out there. I don't know if I'd pick him, but I'm just acknowledging the fact that he's having a good season. I don't know who I would pick other than Trevor Spates.
The two Donna kids ran really well, but they're like
yeah, but they're like just athletes.
They're
You can put them
quarterbacks,
anywhere.
right?
Who is the catfish in Edinburgh? Meaning, going back to the comment you made earlier
Who's
about
what?
bottom feeders.
Who's what?
The catfish.
Who's the catfish in Edinburgh?
Speaking about the comment you made earlier about bottom feeders.
Oh, they're bottom feeders. Oh, yeah. Edinburgh High. Who made that comment? Do we know?
What do you mean?
Do we know who made that comment?
Who asked?
Who asked?
Somebody watching.
I just made a, I just made a comment that like Edinburgh High, they're bottom feeders in that district. Not bottom feeders, are the doormats, what I'm trying to say. And like no disrespect to Coach Escobar and the kids. Like I've talked to them, I have a tremendous amount of respect. That Edinburgh High got the rough end of the bargain when Vela got created because all the good football players got siphoned into Vela, and that's why Vela is so good despite being only 4 years old. And Edinburgh High has just kind of limped on ever since. They're a 6A school, but they have 4A numbers on that team. They're not bottom feeders of the doormat. Bottom feeders is like what Mercedes is going to become district. Just a team that like feeds on bad teams, That's what I meant to say. I think Mercedes will be a bottom feeder as the season goes on. So that clarifies that. Sorry if that was any confusion. What were you saying?
I think my district has a lot of the top backs. I
Right,
like,
yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
all three of those.
yeah.
I mean, Spates is obvious, but
Spates,
then I like Pena and I
McGowan.
like McGowan, and then was just.
What are
looking at
McGowan's
some of
stats
the
right
people
now?
who
What did he do today against?
I didn't get actual numbers from today.
Okay.
I know he had like a 40-yard touchdown run, so
Okay.
yeah, he had whatever else on top of that. But yeah. Oh, I was looking up for Mario where Spates is compared to the record. Let's see what I can find.
Yeah, Spates watch. Starting next week, we're gonna do Spates Watch, okay?
Seriously. It should be like a
32 6A bottom feeders Lopez. I don't know if they're bottom feeder. They're just the doormat. Like who would be the bottom feeder? That's tough. Would like Hannah be a bottom feeder over there? Again, I don't know. That's not my district. What did I think of the Longhorns' first game? Oh man, neither of us are from Texas. No one in this room is from Texas right now. I'm from Indiana. Greg's from Connecticut. Saul's from Pittsburgh. So I'm from a basketball state. College football doesn't mean anything in Indiana. I mean, I know there's Notre Dame, but there's just a lot of fair weather Notre Dame fans. So I really don't know how to answer that. I'm not a college football guy. But sure,
Man, the score didn't look that good.
Yeah, the score didn't look good. I mean, it's never good when you're down 21-0 in the first quarter. So I don't know.
248 last week. What did Spades get this week?
Mario wants to know the potential games of the week for next week.
I think at least on the monitor side of things, we cover Mercedes to Roma. On our side, I think it's probably Harlingen-Mac High. I think that might be the one we're going to go with. That game is Thursday in McAllen. I think that's going to be the one.
What else did we consider?
We might have considered, I don't know, next week's not a very strong week for games.
I'm trying to do some Trevor Spates math, and then I'll pull up the schedule. 226.
I'll pull up the schedule next week.
Equals. So he's 657 yards away from the Valley.
Oh, PSG North Los Fresnos is next week too. That's a good one.
Yeah, but that's in Los Fresnos. That's not our coverage area.
That could also be a blowout.
Could.
Potentially.
Los Fresnos. Here, to those of you who are listening, especially if the guy who was talking about 32-6A, if he's still here, I've heard the Los Fresnos running back is hurt and he's out for the year. Is that true? I don't know. That's what I've heard. I want to know. Do we have anyone
on that San Benito versus McAllen Memorial? Is that interesting at all?
That's an interesting matchup. Sure. I just don't know if it's our thing with Game of the Week is we try to give love to a lot of teams because with McAllen Memorial, I mean, McAllen Memorial could be Game of the Week almost any week just because Trevor Spates is in it. And that's not to say that we don't want to, give him his undue attention because obviously he's going to break the record this year barring injury. But I think we had McAllen Memorial. Sharon was our first game of the week for week one, so I don't know if we want to do that.
But that game is actually going to be pretty good.
That will be a good game, though. It's not to take away from the quality of that game. That game should be fun.
That could be a lot.
Our trusted confidant Jet Setter does say that the running back for Los Fresnos is out for the year.
Okay, and they're still trucking along.
That's nuts,
so
man.
Imagine if he wasn't out, like what the ceiling could be for that team. I'm totally on the Los Fresnos bandwagon. I haven't even seen them play, but just from what I hear and see, man, they're legit. Are we looking at the schedule for next week?
You are. What else we got?
Schedule for next week. It's not Bradsville, Hannah, and Donna Hyde. JK. Hannah's probably gonna win that. We got
Sharon High needs to get a win.
Harlingen-Mac High. Then you got Ed Couch versus Edinburgh North is interesting, but it's not game of the week material. Rowe PSA Memorial, notable because Coach Uribe was the defensive coordinator at Rowe last year. Let's be his first game against his former team, but that's not game of the week material. Port Isabel Hidalgo, that's not game of the week material. We mentioned PSA North Los Fresnos, that's not. Palmview Rio Grande City, maybe, but I think Palmview Roman next in week 4 will be our game of the week. I really think so.
I like that a lot. No, Rio Grande City's got no shot.
Wesley Coease, Harlingen South. I mean, just a lot of weak matchups. Weslaco High is going to be in Corpus Christi, so
San Benito at McAllen Memorial.
It looks like San Benito, McAllen Memorial, then Harlingen High.
What day is? Man, I get to cover both of those right there on separate days.
Thursday, Friday.
Hell yeah!
You got a good week next week. Yeah, another question.
Greg, what do you make of Sharyland so far, 2 games in?
I got to see both of their games, and I don't think that they're bad. I just think that they said that they were a young team that they think they'll come along with time, and I know they all say that, right? But I don't know. I kind of believe in them still. I think they have some talent, especially on offense, and the defense obviously has a couple of good players. Beto Ruiz had a couple sacks yesterday, and he was good for them last year. I don't know. I like Seth Carter a lot. I think he can do a lot of things running the ball and passing the ball. The running back, Sergio Tornero, was actually caught a bunch of passes yesterday. It was weird. How long does Sharyland hang on in the top 10? Well, I don't think I'm moving him out, right?
I think they might move, though.
They might move. I don't know if I'll take them out.
Team and below that team, but I can't put them behind Roma. So there you go. They're number 9 for me.
I don't know where I'd put them. They're probably going to be lower 10. I might take them out. I don't know. It depends.
You can rank them behind Roma. You could rank Sharyland high behind Roma.
Maybe. Just based on the way that running back's playing for them.
That's hard.
I
That's
could.
hard for me to do.
I could. But again, I only worry when it comes to top 10 list. I worry about the top 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. Kind of go where, like, just what I'm feeling at the moment. I just focus on top 5 mostly. What do you? Yep. Another one.
Someone asked Palmview versus McAllen Memorial right now. Who do you think wins?
Memorial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I can put Palmview ahead of them yet.
Do you
The
think-
question to be asking is Palmview McAllen High. I think that one's more reasonable. But even then, I'm not ready to make that step yet. I don't think either.
Do you think Palmview would be helped or hurt by the fact that they wait until the end of the season to play those two?
That's I hadn't thought about that. I mean, it's.
Well, I mean, it's not like they won't have a measuring stick along the way. They've got Roma week 4.
I guess it depends. I feel like they're probably one of the more experienced teams. They probably don't need all that time to get ready. But you could say the same thing for McAllen Memorial. I think the McAllen High game, they'd probably rather play them earlier. That team has a lot of new guys, especially on defense, and is still kind of figuring it out. So they're probably hurt by that. But I think in terms of Memorial, it probably doesn't matter when they play them. I just don't think they can beat that team right now. Or then.
Is there any team in the Valley you think can beat McAllen Memorial?
Could. I mean, we'd have to see how they match up with Los Fresnos and Bella, but those are the ones right now.
Yeah.
Like
Even Harlingen, maybe. Maybe.
I don't know enough about them to say yes or no on that.
I'm just going based off of what I saw, what I read about them doing against San Antonio. And again, I'm not saying it's automatic, but I don't think that's a blowout.
I guess I should move Harlingen up against. This is good for me to figure out my top 10 while we talk about this. I guess I should move Harlingen up to 4, but because when you asked that question, it makes me think the teams that I could see beating them, and I got to McAllen High, and I can't see that right now. So I guess that's why I have to put Memorial 1, Los Fresnos 2, Vela 3, Harlingen 4, McAllen High 5.
Mm-hmm. Did we get another question?
Palmview hasn't played any quality teams yet either. Yeah, who have they played off the top of my head?
They played Southwest and they played Pace, right?
Yeah.
No, Vela played Pace. Who'd Southwest play?
The funny
Palmview?
thing is, it's like
Who did they play
they
week
played
1?
Lopez.
Well, I mean, at the same time, a lot of teams aren't playing very
Right.
good teams right now in this early part
or
of the
they
season.
are and you don't know it yet, right?
Huh?
Or they are and you don't know it yet.
Right. So.
Southwest is a decent team though. Like
Yeah, they're
for
not
their
bad.
district,
Yeah, Southwest isn't bad. And again, I mean, Weslaco's 2-0, but technically they haven't beaten anybody either because Harlingen South and Donner are both 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, PSJ Southwest would be probably 4th best team in Palmview's district. They'd be in the playoff.
Yeah.
They'd be in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're better or worse than Rowe and La Jolla High, but they'd be in that mix, right? So they're not bad.
Right.
That's
I
a
mean,
decent-
like,
that's a decent
and
win.
Mac High's going to be in our top 10, but they haven't beaten anybody. I mean, they beat Edinburgh High and they got skunked by Permian, which everyone would get skunked by Permian.
Right. It's just so early.
Yeah, it's just early. Once week 5 rolls around, we'll have a better idea. 5, 6. Once district play rolls around,
Yeah, I guess once district starts.
because then all these teams kind
Well,
of
see,
break
here's the
themselves.
funny thing is, it's like once district starts, you stop learning things, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
then you start to think that like the 32 5A teams are good, but they're only playing other 32 5A teams.
Oh yeah.
And then you get to the playoffs and you're like, we forgot that we thought those teams are bad.
Yeah.
Until they lose every game, and then it's like we should have seen this coming.
Yep. Another one.
Somebody said, "What's the biggest surprise through 2 weeks?"
Surprise through 2 weeks.
I gotta glance at this scoreboard and refresh my memory.
Biggest surprise. I'm surprised. I don't know if this is biggest surprise, but a surprise for me. I'm surprised that Edinburgh High hasn't scored yet. And I know, seriously though, like I know that last year they took their lumps. They're 2-8. They've gone 2-8 3 straight seasons. They're not a good team. I get that. They struggle getting kids out, but like they at least averaged 7 points a game last year.
Jace's surprise.
I just they at least averaged 1 touchdown a game, and the fact they're 2 games in, they haven't even gotten something in garbage time. I'm surprised, and I know they played San Diego and Mac High, who are both good teams, but yeah, I got to talk to Coach Escobar about that. Maybe if he's thinking about changing things up, because, like I said, even in garbage time, they should be moving the ball somewhat, and they're just not doing it. So
I think I gotta go with Brownsville Vets.
Brownsville Vets, but are they a surprise though?
They're a surprise to me.
I mean,
Maybe Harlingen
They
High.
went 6-4 last year, but they missed the playoffs because that district was so loaded. It was so deep.
Maybe Harlingen playing San Antonio Reagan closest.
I feel like if you put Brownsville Vets in 31-6A, they'd probably win that district. I really believe that.
Right, but I just didn't think they were that good in there.
I think Brownsville Vets is
So it's
legit.
either them or it's Harlingen High playing the San
Harlingen
Antonio
High
close.
playing San Antonio close.
Are
Yeah.
my biggest little shockers to this point. 8 top districts to lend itself to. I don't know what Mario's talking about.
Mario, you're drunk. Go home.
Let's see. Maybe he means because their district, eight teams in the district are all good, but that's not accurate. Yeah, I want to see what's up with Rivera. Or if they're just going to do the start slow and win a bunch of games.
I know they're young. What?
I'm not.
Yeah, whatever, bro.
I don't believe you. Your volleyball headline didn't. Your volleyball lead didn't say that. So.
Oh my god.
It takes 32-6A.
Calm down.
32-6A. Who took it last year? Los Fresnos. I'm gonna say Los Fresnos again.
Hard to go against Los Fresnos right now.
I'm taking Los Fresnos on that. And again, that's not our coverage area, but just
man,
from what I understand.
You got to see what Harlingen's got.
Harlingen too. Harlingen could do it.
It would surprise me if San Benito stayed in it all year.
Yeah.
At least compared to those two, and it would surprise me if any of the Brownsville schools stayed in it all year compared to those two.
Yeah.
But
when do the two of them play? That's a heavy matchup.
What? Los Fresnos and Harlingen? That's a great question. I'll look it up right now.
Look at here. I'm so close already. Harlingen. No Max Prep to pop up. Leave me alone. Harlingen. That would be the 16th of October.
Mark your calendar, kids.
7 or 8.
That's at Harlingen, October 16th at Harlingen, Los Fresnos, Harlingen. Is that it? I might take a personal day. I might take a personal day just to go watch that.
Yeah,
game.
on a football Friday.
Assuming that that could have the implications that we think it could.
Good luck with your football Friday personal day.
What is that? Oh yeah, football Friday. Nah. Although who knows? Like that might be a garbage week for my district. So.
He's still trying to sell it.
Yeah, right. Once we get into district, there's going to be a decent amount of not great weeks.
Mm-hmm. Well, heck, next week's already a not great week.
Yeah, you did speak for yourself, man. District's killing.
Well, no, I'm saying for the whole valley. Like we got those 2 games and that's it.
Really? No, there's got to be something else to get excited about. Hold on.
Well, the PSG North.
Los Fresnos. I think Los Fresnos is going to win that one.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'll be interested to see how PSG North
game,
responds. But I think Los Fresnos wins that.
I'm not looking at that one, Luca. I want to see how. I got a pretty good idea how that's going to. I'm interested to see Sharyland High get a win.
Over Rivera? What if Sharyland High loses to Rivera then?
Right, that'd be nuts. Let's see. Looking at the schedule.
Don't count out a desperate team.
La Jolla High.
Pace Lopez, JK.
La Jolla High played Vela close last year. I could be interested in how that goes.
Nah.
Yeah, it's not likely, but again.
Vela's going to put up 70 for a third
they
straight
did
week.
last year. At Couch in Edinburgh North.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting game. That's not game of the week material.
Brownsville Rivera and Sharyland a second time.
That's Ed Couch and Ed Couch and Edinburgh North is probably the 3rd best game on the schedule next week. If that was like on an average week, it'd be like 6th, 7th.
Rowan PSG Memorial is one of those measuring stick games.
Yeah, it's interesting for like a storyline wise, but I mean, yeah, it's Harlingen and Mac High, and then it's San Benito McAllen Memorial. Those are the only 2 games that like are just like that's one that you want to go watch. I only want to watch Edinburgh North and Ed Couch because I mean I haven't seen Edinburgh North yet. They're in my district just because of storylines and everything there. But like if I'm a fan, I probably would overlook that game because it's on the same night as San Benito McAllen Memorial. I go watch Trevor Spates play.
Who's the team most likely to score 70 next week? Other than whichever one.
Other than Bella?
Yeah.
Well, hey, McAllen Memorial.
Well, who plays Progressive next week? No.
Hey. No, McAllen Memorial and San Benito could be a shootout.
Team most likely to score 70 points. I'm going to say Palmview. They play Rio Grande City.
I don't know. They run the ball.
I think Palmview could do it. If they run the ball well enough.
Sharyland's angry game?
Sharyland's Sharyland smash!
Right.
I don't know.
We are pissed off and we're going to score 1,000,000 points against Rivera.
That's what the Patriots are going to do in the NFL this year.
The whole freaking season.
That's going to be so
I'm
boring. I'm already dreading the NFL
Ooh,
this year.
Brownsville Vets against Edinburgh High?
No. At Brownsville Vets, that could be a 70-point score. Yeah. Palmview, I bet Palmview or Brownsville Vets. Brownsville Vets could score quickly. They had 2 touchdowns that came on 1 play.
We were
they had
talking
a 1
about
play
this.
touchdown drive.
We were talking about this that last week there were a bunch of 70-point games. Did we get?
There were 3 70-point games last week.
Did we get it?
This week there was 1. Harlan Bella, they put up 70.
Oh,
and
Brownsville St. Joe's put up 73.
That doesn't count. And then in terms of
St. Joseph's just mage, dude.
Odessa, don't say that. Don't say that.
Listen, they're probably like better than we would ever expect a team at that level to be.
Because they're a private school and they can go out and recruit kids like a college would.
Do you think that's what they do though?
Yeah. Of course they. Yes.
I don't know how high that is on St. Joe's priority list.
I'm not saying it's high on their priority list, but they can do it. This guy.
What the hell?
This guy. What are you doing?
You're not gonna get here in time for the end of the show and then act like you're not here in time for the end of the show.
Are you wasted?
No.
Did you drive here wasted?
No.
Pull up a seat and get in here.
I was asking questions to make sure that
the show was still going.
All the white kids are at St. Joe. Yeah, see?
What is that? Is that a good thing? What?
No, they recruit white kids to go play.
They recruit.
Don't make this a race thing.
Tuition's a lot over there.
Which is why it's all white kids,
Might be like
JK.
15,000.
Which is why it's all white
Oh
kids.
my
I'm teasing.
God, you are racist.
I'm not being racist.
For those not in the room, Mario just walked.
Mario, get over here. Get on the screen.
My eyes are probably red.
Oh, I did it. Anyways, no. In terms of
Just John's reaction to that was my favorite part.
yeah, St. Joe. Who cares? Why, never say St. Joe's Mage.
They're major.
They're not mature. They're not. They're a private school that has the benefit of recruiting kids that can fit a style of play for a coach.
Do you think that's
and
what
they
they
went
do?
out and they beat Lyford.
Do you think that's what they do?
Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying that like sports is high on their priority, but like if that's something that they can do as a private school, is go out and like recruit kids. Hell yeah, they probably do.
If
that.
St. Joe was a public school, what would they be like classification wise? Like enrollment numbers?
Oh
God,
God,
who could
probably
know
like
that?
a 1A, 2A.
Really?
Most private schools are. Well, let me look up see what their enrollment is. Can I look it up?
If they beat Port Isabel in a couple weeks.
Brownsville, St. Joseph.
That was the first game I covered when I came here. PI St. Joe.
Brownsville,
Wow, lucky
St.
you.
Joseph, and total.
I covered Gruya Hidalgo playoff basketball.
My first game I covered, it was like PHA Southwest Dawn
Yeah.
or something
was it?
like that.
They really need to ease you in. It's the wow. What if we can't use this at all? It's not the end of the world theory.
Their enrollment is only 752, so they'd be 4A. They'd be a small 4A.
That's right.
Progresso's about 550, and they're a 4A, so they'd be a 4A school.
Yeah.
So they're a 4A school that gets to go out and pick whatever kids they want.
But again, is that happening?
How do they have athletic
I don't know.
scholarships, though?
I'm sure it's happening, but how much of it impacts what they do?
They're stealing all the talent from.
I'm not saying they're stealing talent. I'm just saying that they have a luxury of.
Is that why Lopez and Pace are so bad?
Because Brownsville St. Joe's is stealing.
I'm not. I'd be curious to see where first of all, where is Brownsville St. Joseph in relation to like the rest of the public schools over there?
Like
Close to
location
the
wise.
Herald. It's close to the Herald.
I don't
Well,
know
there
what
you
that
have it,
means.
folks. Hold on.
I think it might be close to
St. Joseph Academy in Brownsville. Hold on.
Google Maps.
I'm just realizing that once I have this Google Maps, it's not going to help me because I don't know where any of it is.
Yeah, it's not going to help you. Like what
Okay,
high school is
it's near,
close?
It's near Hannah.
It's near Hannah. Okay.
It's right next to the Gladys Porter Zoo.
yeah.
I just.
Canales Field.
Yeah, so it's downtown. I'm not saying that.
It's next to Porter.
I'm not saying that they're stealing Valley talent, but I am saying that they have a luxury that public schools don't have. They can go out and they can actively recruit kids to come play football for them.
It's not
So
the
you
field.
think they're
the
like-
field isn't that good.
So you think that they're going to middle schools, and they're saying you can come play at Brownsville St. Joseph, and that's working? This is what you're pitching to me right
Well,
now.
maybe they're going after like obviously
kid is, like,
obviously they're not going to go up to
older.
like a kid like Trevor Spates and be like, hey, come play for a
I
hoity-toity private school.
I want to be a bloodhound.
I think that they go for like maybe they have a coach there who runs a specific style.
They switch coaches. This is first year coach.
Like look, like the one school in Arkansas who had the coach that would always run the ball and they would never punt on fourth down and they would like that was a private school and they could go out and get kids.
They won state, I think, or they competed in state.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying that like because this is the Valley and football talent comes at a premium down here. I'm not saying that like that helps them be good. I'm just saying like, that's a luxury they don't have. Can you at least say that like they can go out and recruit players?
Yeah, technically they could, but I don't know if it happens.
I'm sure it does. Now I'm sure that they don't get like a whole team's worth of kids every year, but I'm sure they might get 3 or 4.
But it's like what? Okay,
They
so
put up big numbers.
what I'm saying is, what is the pitch that they are making that is luring in?
Hey, pissed off Hannah kid, you have a grudge against the coach because you think you're not getting playing time. How about you come over to Brownsville St. Joseph?
So you
You'll,
think they're going
you'll
to-
get playing time and a better education
You
because
think-
we're a private school.
You think they're going to current high school at?
I don't. Just for the record, I don't think that you get a better education in private school, especially if it's Catholic. JK, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
Hannah's original Brownsville High School, though. So
Yeah.
maybe you want to be there because.
Well, no, I'm just. But again, like, I mean, maybe you find disgruntled kids and go after them. I don't know. That's a strategy. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but that's not unreasonable to me.
I think you're overrating.
I'm not overrating. We've spent like 8 minutes talking about Brownsville St. Joseph. Who cares?
Because they
Can we just
are
that's a
mage.
treat for
They're not mage. They're not.
Then why are we still
mage.
talking about it?
Because you're making it an issue by calling them mage when they're clearly not. That's why.
Last year, didn't they have like 2 players that were in the discussion for All Valley?
Who cares? Why? Why would they be in the discussion?
Because statistically, they had.
They're not. Who cares? They're going up against other private school play. Like no.
Mario showed me an Instagram post the other day.
Brownsville Vets was recruiting kids from most. Yeah, I mean.
Hey, we can't just.
Well, no, I'm sure it happens though. I mean, just because they can't do it, like okay, just because they can't do it doesn't mean they won't. Like, come on now. It's not hard.
Here's what I'm saying.
What IG post are you talking about, Greg?
The one you showed me.
There's BS that happens like this at the college level all the time. Why wouldn't it happen at the high school level? Are you kidding me?
Brownsville St. Joe's.
No, they're talking about like there's like
okay,
they're
whatever.
talking about UIL schools, public schools.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some shady things.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
Mario showed me a post on Instagram the other day where Kai Money threw a touchdown pass, and somebody commented that he was a Division I athlete still.
Who cares?
No, questioned it.
Who cares?
Is he division? No, is he?
No, they said there's no question, size doesn't matter.
Oh, the comment. Yeah,
How many Division I players are gonna? How many Valley football players are gonna go D1 this year? Aside from Trevor Spates, how many?
0.
Okay, there you go.
Maybe. Not for sure.
That would be next year.
Michael
right?
Reyes for Velda.
Wouldn't that be next year?
No, he's a senior.
He's a senior now.
Okay, so we got maybe one. We got one other guy with like a maybe,
Only Kai Money?
like several maybes in front of him. Who the hell is Kai Money? The quarterback of St. Joe?
Check. Google him.
Oh no, I'm not gonna Google that loser. No.
He's not a loser.
I'm not. No, I'm not Googling. No.
No, I understand what you're saying, John. You're probably right.
Of course I'm right. Thank you. Thank you.
Just
Thank
like
you.
St. Joe's.
That's what I love.
St. Joe's made it was like
That's what I love to hear.
by the end of the year, you'll like St. Joe's too because you can pick them every week. And they just always win.
I have nothing against St. Joe. But they're not mage. They're not mature. They're not, they are a private school who beats up on other small private schools.
From Austin and San Antonio, I think they compete against those schools.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. They're small little world. They're a big fish. Great. Congratulations, Brownsville St. Joe. Great. Why do I care? I don't care.
Who's your favorite small school?
Favorite small school? Shouts to Juan Diego Academy. No, I don't.
Hell yeah.
How many students do they have? Like
Volleyball, dude.
Huh?
Volleyball over there.
Girls basketball.
Program.
I forget. Oh, what was that girl's name?
Does Juan Diego Academy have more teachers or students?
I don't know. Well, more students, hopefully.
Volleyball wins.
They've got like eight teachers teaching one student. No, I don't know. Oh, speaking of which, since we're here,
Now we don't need to.
Mr. Volleyball. You want to talk about volleyball?
McAllen schools are good.
There you go, yep.
Mission Vets is good. Mission Vets is good. There's really not.
And track and field, Victor Pedraza.
Where the hell is
Oh
that
my
school?
god,
What a great question.
tweet of the year so far.
Where the hell is that school? What school?
Juan Diego Academy? It's in Mission.
It's literally, it's in Mission, and it is like a stone's throw away from the border. You can look out the window of the school and see Mexico.
Great.
Is it really?
Have you
Yeah,
been
it's really close to the border.
I've
Is
not
that the
been
close?
there.
Is that the closest Upper Valley school that's closest to the border? Or is it Hidalgo?
Oh wow, it really is right there.
I think Mission might be the closest. Like it's right there on the river.
What the hell?
Like it's right there.
Hold on, where's let's figure out what
UTB is like a couple blocks from the border. Like I think it's across from the border.
Hidalgo, Progresso's really close to the border too. Hidalgo, Progresso.
Looks like Hidalgo is closer.
Look at Progresso. I bet you Progresso might be closer.
The link on RGV Sports. Get the drunk crowd weighing in on this.
No, don't get the racist tweet out there.
Racist.
Oh, he's talking about.
The kid who's on some
He's
immigration.
talking about the Periscope.
No, he's actually talking about.
No, he's talking about the
Yeah.
No, Oh, we've already done that.
How close is Progresso? Yeah, Progresso's Hidalgo's close.
Oh, are you talking about the PSJ Southwest?
Yeah, I thought that's what you were talking about.
That's not racist.
Brownsville
The kid
Vets
said
is
he
on
was
the
running
border.
like he was running from immigration. There's a reason you didn't put it in the newspaper.
Victor Pedraza's the
Everybody
man,
needs
though. That kid is
motivation.
cool. Shouts to Victor Pedraza.
Everybody needs motivation.
What do you know about Victor Pedraza?
Huh?
What do you know about Victor Pedraza?
He's a hell of a distance runner. He went to state last year, track and field.
Yeah.
I mean, he came
Mile
in
and
like,
2 mile, or which one, or both?
I think it was the 2 mile.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the maybe it was the mile. It was the mile.
He said he competed in one of those.
It was the mile, not the 2 mile. It was the mile.
He won district.
He won district. He got second place San Antonio. Went to state. He got like 8th place at state, but still, just the fact he was there, good for him.
Really? I used to love it.
Unless it was
State.
for
That's probably
cross-country?
cross country.
Okay.
Because they only allow 8 people in state. So.
I don't know.
No, he's cool.
Juan Diego is the closest school to.
Juan Diego.